There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up and welcome into episode number 95 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Matt Gann, Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, no Patrick Hertzberger this week. Today is Thursday, November 2nd. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Trying to hit 2,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Cost you $0, folks. I'm going to push you right now. If you're watching this, there is a high probability that you are not subscribed to the channel. Folks, it's free. It helps us. You like the stuff we make. That's why you're watching. That's why
would you be here if you didn't like the shit?
Yes. Subscribe. It's free. Also like this video. That'd be great. You can follow us on all of our social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. What else am I missing? I don't even know what else I'm missing. Did we have a Threads? Did we ever make a Threads?
Did that exist?
Yeah,
we got a Threads. You know we have a Threads. Yeah. All right. That was kind of cheap, little low-hanging fruit. Patrick is holding it down on Threads.
He is. He's holding it down on Threads. Boys, it's Bedlam week.
Yeah, it is.
The last one for the foreseeable future. The last confirmed Bedlam.
True.
The last confirmed Bedlam. Let that sink in for a second. That's interesting. We have.
Let me interrupt.
Yes.
Let me interrupt. You're all Oklahoma people.
Yeah,
there was a part of your lives where you really had to entertain. All right, am I at all interested in Oklahoma State?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean? It being the last Bedlam for you guys? Because for me, it doesn't mean the same thing, right? But for y'all, it might mean something different. So let's go in order. Yeah. Matt, go ahead.
Mark loves his let's go in order.
I mean, this means
my question.
This means everything. It's an in-state rivalry. It hasn't been much of a rivalry if you look at the wins and losses by both teams. But this is essentially bragging rights for the next, however foreseeable future. Someone's going to win on Saturday, especially if OSU wins. That would be 2 in a row that they can claim.
That's not true. We won last year.
2 out of the last 3.
Stillwater.
2 out of the last 3.
2 out of the last 3.
They have those bragging rights until we play them again in 15 years. So this game is huge.
Yeah, because as Mike Gundy told us, his schedule's all booked up. Couldn't possibly fit us in.
Mike Gundy I hated on.
Oh,
and
I know.
Now he's just killing it.
I know, it's so funny.
All right, Nathan, go ahead.
I think it matters a lot. It matters more to OSU fans. I think I want to make that clear. But I don't think that means that OU fans don't care about it. I think it's a big game, especially
I'm asking about you.
For me, is it a big deal?
Yeah, as a person.
Yes, because I have really good friends who are Oklahoma State fans, and I always enjoy getting to talk my shit.
Right.
And I enjoy the once out of every 15 years that they get to talk their shit. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll miss it for sure. I definitely will. I won't.
It certainly seems like it means more than oh man, we're playing Vanderbilt this week.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Ryan, wrap us up. And then I want everyone to think about why we went the order we went in. Because I said in order, didn't I? So Ryan, go ahead.
So I think personally for me, I don't think that I'm gonna miss it that much. I think this has been a dominant rivalry, if you can even call it that. It's more fun than playing Vanderbilt, like you gave an example of, Mark, but I don't know. I just I don't really feel that much. The one thing that I will agree with Gann on is that I think this in particular game matters because, oh my God, we will never hear the end of it. If OSU wins this game, we will never hear the end of it, and we won't have another chance. And for somebody who is in a relationship with someone who went to Baylor University, and the last 2 years we've lost those games, and we don't play them this year, I know what it feels like to be oh, well, we have the last 2 years and we'll never see you again. See ya. And so no, that is what I think we have to.
You throw that all-time record, and they're but we
got it.
Kicked your ass on the way out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got you last. And that's
Okay,
what people are gonna care about.
I like that answer a lot because I can hit with that, right? I don't have the Oklahoma State thing. But to Mason's point, oh my God, you won't get to talk your shit in the same way. Now you're going to be like, oh, you lost to Houston. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
I know.
the same.
No, it's not.
Not the same. Anyway, we went in order of what I think height is. I think Ryan's the tallest one here.
Really?
You think
I think
Ryan
so.
is the tallest one in the
Okay.
group?
I think
Not Patrick.
is Ryan not
but
taller than Mason?
I think
I
Ryan.
don't know.
I think
Really
Ryan
tight.
has me.
It's
I
really
think Ryan
tight.
has
tight.
me. Yeah.
It's really tight.
I'm glad I'm not in it because it'd be.
No,
No,
I
I think Mason, you, I, and Mark are all pretty close.
Close.
Yeah, we're close.
It's like right there.
Yeah, we're definitely close.
Then, you know,
This
Patrick
good
is
content.
Patrick is just like a abnormal sized
Yeah,
human.
and then Matt's just not even close, like at all. Matt's
No,
not
Matt has
close
so
at all.
many other skills.
He's
Yeah.
so much funnier than we are.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Exactly. Like I wish my back didn't hurt to bend down and pick something up as much as like for Matt, it's like a no brainer. All he's like is like that, but for me, I got
He's right there.
I gotta like, yeah, he's right there.
Literally so mean.
He's fine. He's literally okay.
On the other side, no urinal's too short for him.
100%.
Never has been.
Shout out Matt Gann.
Short King Spring is on its way. Just saying.
That's right.
That's-
Comment down below if you
Hey.
want to be in Short King Spring with Matt.
I've never seen
In the
Gann
spring in 6
glow
months.
so much. I really think it might be Short King Halloween because I've never seen Gann glow so much as he did this past weekend. You know, he was just
Shout out to
Oh,
Gann.
yeah.
just thriving, absolutely thriving. What a man!
Way to
That's what
go,
I'm here
Matt.
for. It's the only,
All right.
only thing I'm good for.
Let's
keep it going.
let's talk some OU. Let's talk some OU football news, boys, before we dive into the game as a whole. I want to get this out of the way now. Danny Stutzman, one of 12 Lombardi finalists. Nick Anderson and Peyton Bowen, 2 Freshman of the Year finalists, along with a bunch of other freshmen across the country. So shout out to them. Danny Stutzman, fingers crossed we won't know till close to game time, according to Brent Venables. Sounds like he's a game time decision. And Gentry Williams is practicing, according to Brent Venables. So anything on that, boys? I think Danny plays. I just personally
he's gonna try. He's gonna try, but I mean, this is a huge game. This is basically I think I saw this on Twitter. This is not just my brain, but I'm pretty sure this is like a Big 12 like championship, like elimination game. If you think about it, like, I mean,
could be.
There are 4 teams at the top at 4-1, and those are Kansas State, Texas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State's in there too, and then OU. And so if you lose to someone like Oklahoma State, the chances of you coming back, not great, especially not with what we got three games left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is a huge game, and so if Danny is capable at all, like, I hope he plays, but I also don't want him to get more injured. So they'll be smart about it, I think.
That's true. Anybody else on that? Because
you hope and pray that he plays, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's Danny Stutzman. He's been the best player on the field for Oklahoma all season long. There isn't a single contender next to him, I think. And if you hope he plays and you hope he's right, that's kind of the big thing, is you hope he's really Danny.
I will feel better if he's out there. I think that's quite obvious. I think all of Sooner Nation feels the same as well. Also, Brent Venables in his press conference this week, guys. We had this in the outline. Thought it'd be a fun little debate here. Anybody else feel like there were some ricochet shots at Jeff Lebby by chance? Not like hardcore intentional shots, but Brent was asked about the offense's inability to push the ball downfield against Kansas, and Brent felt as though that those opportunities were there. I'm not going to misquote him. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he felt as though those shots were there and probably would have liked to see those. It seems like a little bit of tension. I'm sure Brent had a couple conversations with the offense and the offensive staff after that game against Kansas, and a lackluster offensive performance. If you haven't watched our post-game pod after the Kansas game, check that out on our YouTube channel and anywhere you hear a podcast. Anybody thoughts on that? Matt, I want to start with you.
One quick comment on Danny, since I wasn't able to. He elevates everyone around him, especially JK7. I feel like JK7 was a little bit lost in space without Danny Stutzman on the field. So if Danny's not able to go, you hope Kobe McKenzie and Kip Lewis can fill in those gaps, but not very confident without Danny on the field, especially with a good running back, which I know we'll talk about here in a little bit. The comments, I think, were definitely directed right at Jeff Levy. I mean, I just think about right before halftime, we have 3 timeouts, 50 seconds left, and we run the ball for 5 yards and decide to knee it out.
Gross.
I mean, what are we doing? I mean, what else? I mean, you're going to get the ball to start the second half. Why not be aggressive? Try to take a big shot play. What is it going to hurt? I think that's from there. And then obviously the overall game, too many behind the line passes, jet sweeps to Gavin Freeman, not enough throws down the field. And you can say whatever you want about inclement weather, the wind, but Jason Bean was able to throw down the field.
Yeah.
He was able to get it to his tight ends and his receivers down there. And that's why I said before the game was we have to do better at intermediate and deep threats and take advantage of Nick Anderson. He's producing 24 yards per catch. That's by throwing down the field, and he's an elite athlete in space. The play calling was tremendously horrible, way too conservative and situational downs. He's got to be a lot more aggressive, and I think this is definitely a direct shot at the offense because they left a lot on the field and definitely didn't take advantage of a not-so-great Kansas defense.
Mark.
I think I'm the one who actually brought this up to the gang. It was absolutely shots at the offensive staff. And I think Jeff Levy personally, I took it that way immediately. I know that Brent is sort of a speak off the cuff kind of guy. He'll just like stream of consciousness, whatever he's thinking he says. And so that's probably what it was. I don't think that he's someone who's trying to speak through the media by no means at all. But I think that can be true. And what can also be true is you should know better than to say something like that out loud with a microphone in front of you. Like that's it. They're both true. That's something you keep behind closed doors. And it gets to sort of the, not disjointed way that the offense and defense are run, but it's very clearly contracted out to Jeff Levy in a way. And the Brent Levy pull and control over the overall direction of the offense is a tenuous one. It's something that we've seen for 2 years now. And last week was a great example, I think, given Brent's comments of where they're just not really on the same page with what the offense should be doing. And how do you reconcile that? What is the reconciliation for that? On top of that, we've confirmed that Bill Bedenbaugh was the one flagged for the sideline penalty, right? Bedenbaugh's a holdover from the last era, the last staff. You start to see these pieces that, they're all going in the same direction, but how we get there, they might be looking at it differently. Mm-hmm. And that's not really what a flag is. I don't want to talk shit on that or anything like that. But I think the larger point still stands. And it's not what you want to see when you're 7-1.
No. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm kind of echoing what everyone else thinks. I took the situation as if we dumb it down to even non-football standards, it was a boss being asked a question around the performance of someone who is underneath him or one of his employees. And he gave an answer that was very, it wasn't completely direct, but it was basically yes, I understand the performance is not where it needs to be. We're working on it. That's the way that I took that as I hear all of your concerns. He hears all your concerns. We've had a conversation about this. And something will change, or we got to talk about having a different conversation at that point. That's the way I saw that.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on, I think, what Mark mentioned around kind of the push and pull of the offense between Venables and Levy. And I completely agree with that. I think you can see that. I think we've been able to see that. But at the end of the day, this is a test, I think, more for Brent Venables on, can he be the head coach? And the head coach is thinking about everything, not just the defense that is his specialty, but also just the team in general and how we're performing. And that's still his responsibility, just as much as it is Jeff Levy's. So he's got to be able to be a leader in that situation and do what needs to be done. And I'm not pretensing anything. I'm just saying, like, I think this is a really interesting situation for BV to be in as a first-time head coach. And I think this is a situation that we're going to learn a lot from, especially over the next several weeks to months.
To be clear, my point was not meant to instigate the thought or the question, can BV be the head coach?
No,
that's not what I had tried to get at, but just to clear that part up.
The last thing that I have on this is, I get where Mark's coming from, is like, you want to keep stuff behind closed doors and I completely get that and understand that. And this point may come off super weird or come off as like, what the hell are you talking about? But here I go anyway. Nick Saban gives his offensive coordinators absolute hell on the sideline in front of everybody in press conferences. He doesn't call them out by name, but if they aren't doing a good enough job for him, you're going to know about it. And to that point, I'm okay with Brent kind of being like, yeah, I would have liked to take more shots downfield. It would have been nice. Now at the same time, to Mark's point, yeah, the professional way to handle that is everything behind closed doors. Tell Levy in a meeting, like, why the hell didn't we throw a pass more than 5 yards downfield? That would have probably been the easiest way to do this. And we're probably reading way too much into this, because this is what we do after a loss. We overanalyze everything and the sky's falling and all of that stuff. But in reality, everything's probably okay. And Brent probably had a conversation with Levy like, hey, let's try to push the ball downfield a little more. And then probably had that press conference and stream of consciousness, like Mark said, just lets it fly. Because he's like, oh, I already talked to Jeff about this. This isn't like anything that anybody's hearing for the first time. So I don't know. That's just where my mind goes. But again, I get both sides of it. Let us know down below in the comments what you think about the whole Jeff Levy situation and not taking any shots downfield. And do you think it was a shot by Brent Venables in his press conference? Boys, anything else on the OU news front before we break down some Oklahoma State? Okay. Oh, Mark is thinking. Mark is thinking. While he's thinking, folks, be sure to check out the program roundup every single week. Post that for you guys on the weekend. Pat does a great job producing that show, does a really good job at hosting it as well. Love for you guys to check that out. Take a look at the entire world of college football. Also, Oklahoma ranked number 9 in the college football playoff rankings. Feel like we don't need to spend a lot of time of that.
Talk about it.
Yeah, because I don't really care. Like, I don't care. Just
I think it's the right spot.
Yeah, just win games. You can make the case or bitch about Texas being 7 ahead of you after a head-to-head win, which is kind of where I was, jerk reaction. But Mark, make your point, because you kind of talked me off a ledge with that.
Yeah, so here's my thing, is just like, we looked bad against UCF, we looked bad against Kansas, and while Texas looked bad against Houston, they followed that up with a dominant performance against BYU. Texas has looked better start to finish, I think, all year long than Oklahoma has. I think that Oklahoma has, we started very, very strong on defense. And since the Texas game, you've sort of seen that kind of fall off a little bit. And on offense, the Andrew Anthony, I'm not saying they docked us because we lose Andrew Anthony, but the play on the field has fallen off. And you have to take all of those things into account. I'm fine with 9. I think 9 is a great spot for this team. While we're on it, Ryan, Matt, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, real quick.
I think go ahead, Cam.
I was going to say, one of the committee members, I forgot what his name was, pretty much said that the committee came and said that the biggest difference between why Alabama and Texas are ahead of Oklahoma, especially the head-to-head that everyone likes to talk about. We beat Texas. Texas beat Alabama. Why are they both in front of us? The biggest one was primarily the loss of Kansas and how we looked. And like to Mark's point, Texas has looked like the better team, but from what the committee and the statement I read, the article, was they were putting a lot more emphasis on what OU looked like in the Kansas game and obviously a close game to UCF. So I think when you look at that, kind of take a 30,000 foot view. I mean, I agree with the committee on this one. And I mean, I think Alabama and Texas are far better playing since we played Texas 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, wherever it was.
100%
Yeah, I agree.
agree with you. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I mean, Texas has 2 ranked wins. We have 1. It's and like that to me is enough. I like that is going to change over the next 4 weeks probably. So I don't think any of this matters.
Cool.
So the thing that I had us pause for, Mason.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on drop day, Thursday, November 2nd, today is the commitment date for Oklahoma City athlete linebacker Marcus James. This is a personal favorite of mine, and I have had a crystal ball in for him for weeks now. I'm very excited about the possibility of him playing linebacker or cheetah in the Oklahoma defense. So be looking out today if you're listening on drop for the Marcus James commitment. Again, I'm 100% on balls dropped. So if I drop a ball for a man, he's usually a Sooner.
Big facts. Check it out on drop day. Drop day, dropping balls. All right, boys, Oklahoma State. To Ryan's point, this is kind of a big game in terms of Big 12 standings and essentially a de facto elimination game almost to making the Big 12 title game in Arlington. So Oklahoma State comes in, crap, what are they ranked? Gosh dang it. I just had it up.
22
in the playoff.
Thank you.
I'm feeling
Thank
22.
Thank you, Matt Gann. They come in with Ollie Gordon on the offensive side of the ball, leads the Big 12 in rushing, dude's a stud. And Oklahoma State's kind of had a weird year. They had a down and up year, not up and down and up. They started out looking really ugly against bad teams like Central Arkansas and Arizona State. And then they got ranked wins against Kansas State and Kansas. Lost a game to Iowa State, which is their only conference loss as of now, just coming off a win against Cincinnati. So Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy seem to be figuring it out. I want to start with Oklahoma State's offense against Oklahoma's defense, what we think of that matchup and how we think OU can slow down Ollie Gordon, because in all reality, guys, that's the offense right there. You slow him down and you can effectively limit Oklahoma State's damage to you offensively.
Here are the last 5 Ollie Gordon games in order. In the 34-27 loss to Iowa State, he runs for 121 yards. The next 4 games are wins. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Ollie Gordon goes for 136, then 168, then 282, then 271.
That's stupid.
Wild.
That's just dumb.
For a little bit of context, OU's season leader in rushing yards is Tawi Walker at 385.
Gross.
So if you took 1.5 Ollie Gordon games out of the last 2 weeks, you'd have more rushing yards than Tawi Walker. Kind of. I think I'm wrong on that. But if you took the last 2 weeks, you definitely would have more. Ollie Gordon is a monster at the running back position that we haven't seen this year. Jonathan Brooks is probably the closest thing, but I think that Ollie is playing better ball than Jonathan Brooks was. He's a better back than either of the Kansas guys. He's a better back than RJ Harvey, and all of those players ran for over 100 yards on us. I don't think Kansas's second back did, but you get the point. This is the matchup that I am very worried about losing Danny for. Yeah. I think Kip Lewis is a great tackler. It's not about throwing just Kip Lewis in there and like A and B, him and Jaron Kanik. It's that extra with Danny Stutzman that I hit on in the post game, where if you remove him and put anyone else in there, it doesn't matter how good that football player is. You're losing a little bit of extra because Danny Stutzman's the leader on the field. He's always communicating. He's getting guys in the right spot. And he makes sure especially that the linebacker next to him is doing the right thing. That's Danny's bag. This season, he has been the absolute leader on the team. And so you hope and pray that he's able to play and play effectively, because if he's not, I am very worried about the Ollie Gordon just take over. I'm not convinced that without Danny Stutzman and Peyton Bowen, right? How do we feel about Peyton Bowen? We don't really know.
He's been in a boot. I mean,
he's been in a
we have
boot.
no idea. Yeah.
And we don't love the safety play outside of Peyton Bowen and Billy Bowman.
Yeah.
And man, it just this is the week, probably the 1 week since Texas, where I'm a little worried about an offense getting the better of our defense. I went on for a while there, but someone follow me.
No, Ryan, jump in there.
No, I think I think it's kind of simple, and maybe I'm making it too simple. You contain Ollie Gordon, you win this game. Like and maybe that's dumb of me to say, but if you look at his stat lines, it's like 280. Like, how are we going to stop that when we couldn't last week against Kansas? We really haven't been able. We had an really good early run defense. It has been shaky at best the last couple of weeks. That's the game to me. Like you can, if he runs 280 yards on us, we're going to lose this game. Like I don't trust our offense enough to be able to keep up with, especially with what we've seen the last couple of weeks, to keep up with a running back like this, like to keep up with all the yards that he's getting. I don't particularly think Oklahoma State is that good in any other category on offense, but that running game, if they get it going, like, we're going to be in trouble. So the Danny injury is huge. The Peyton injury is huge. We're pretty beat up on defense right now. And I know that, like, people have, I think that BV mentioned, like, Ollie can just make plays at like any moment. And he's right, he can. And I know this is a guy that you circle and tape, and you circle this and you say, this is what we need to stop. But for the last 4 weeks, people have been circling this guy, I guarantee you, and they have not been able to stop him. So we need to figure out something that these other teams have not been able to figure out in slowing this guy down, or else it's going to be a really long day on Saturday.
Oklahoma allows 132 rushing yards per game to opposing offenses. I think if you hold Ollie Gordon to less than 150 yards rushing, I think you're fine. That sounds like a lot, right? 150 yards to a running back doesn't sound like
half what he's done.
Doesn't sound like a fun time. I think that's what it takes to limit him. If you keep him under that 150-yard threshold, then you limit their offense. Make Alan Bowman beat you. He's got 1,500 yards in 8 games, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's turnover prone. He's shown his struggles. They are relying on this Ollie Gordon guy to be their bread and butter. If you are able to force them to throw the ball, that's when you can make them pay. That's when you can cause some turnovers and get a short field and make your offense go out there, because we'll get to the Oklahoma offense against their defense as well. But I think OU's going to score some points. I think Jeff Lebby's got an axe to grind, and they'll be able to score some points. Will Oklahoma State be able to score with them? I don't think so if you can limit Ollie Gordon to less than 150 yards.
I worry that the game plan is going to be a little bit more play action pass. Know that we're going to sell out for Ollie Gordon, and then
could be,
and maybe I'm wrong, but Gundy is, to his credit, he's really figured out some creative offensive stuff, and he's going to have something in his bag.
Yeah, Matt Gann, jump in there.
Yeah, I think you brought up some good points where OSU started. They were really in a 3-man quarterback committee to start the year. Obviously not looking good against Central Arkansas, then losing to South Alabama 33-7.
I didn't even mention the South Alabama
that was
game.
really tough.
Yes.
Yeah. And everyone's thinking, OSU is done for the year. And now since really that game, they've really turned it around, especially in Big 12 play. They've played a lot better. This is a much different team from the beginning of the year up until this point. Obviously, a big difference has been Alan Bowman finally being good enough, right? He's not a top-tier Big 12 quarterback, but playing good enough to convert on third downs, keep the offense moving. And Ollie Gordon doesn't just run the ball. He also catches balls out of the backfield. He is absolutely dynamic. So he's going to be a hard one to stop, especially since if OU is going to play aggressive, they're going to have to play a lot of man coverage in this game so they can stack the box. If Danny doesn't play, I'm worried Ollie might go for 200 plus and 4 TDs like he did last week against Cincinnati. This guy's an absolute bowling ball and has got tremendous speed in hand. So if the OU offense, who just gave up 41 carries, 225, and 4 touchdowns to Kansas, I can't imagine if they let Ollie Gordon break loose what his damage can be. Now, again, last week, the weather really incremented that there was going to be more of a heavy run offense. But if Jason Bean can throw in that weather, I'm sure Alan Bowman can throw in whatever the weather is going to be. I think it's going to be 60% or 60 degrees and clear on a 2:30 afternoon in Stillwater. The fans want it. OSU wants this game. I wanted to make sure OU brings the energy, especially on the defensive end, because we're going to need the defense to spark our offense.
Yeah. One final thing I have on this: Oklahoma State converting less than 40% on third downs. If you get them in obvious passing situations, I think that's a massive, massive benefit for obvious reasons. But if you get them in a situation, get them in third downs and getting them off the field, you can do that. You can do that. And of course, Danny Stutzman is a big part of that. I feel like every third down play, Danny's involved in some form or fashion. So him being on the field is going to be very important for that. We'll see how the week develops and how he looks. Anybody else on the defense? Cool. Let us know down below in the comments what you're looking for out of OU's defense against Oklahoma State's offense. We read every single one of your comments. We appreciate them more than you know. All right. OU offense against the Cowboys defense. Boys, Dylan Gabriel reportedly at practice this week, very, very vocal, very upset with his teammates. I don't want to say upset. More so motivating his teammates in a rah-rah fashion that last week just straight up was not good enough.
A little more demanding, maybe.
Yeah.
A little more demanding.
And,
like a leader.
Yeah.
Like
and that's what you expect out of the leading passer in the Big 12. You know, he knows what it takes to win. He knows what this game means for this team. I really think a win against Oklahoma State here can get you right and get you to Arlington, get the train rolling, and you roll through the last 4 weeks of the year. I truly think that's the way this needs to work. And it starts with the offense. And it's the big plays that were absent against Kansas. You're going to have to be able to push the ball downfield. We're sounding like broken records here, but Nick Anderson exists, to Matt Gann's point. He's alive and well. Throw the kid the ball. If I see another jet sweep, I'm going to bash my head through a wall. I can't do it anymore. Gavin Freeman reserved for returning kicks, and that's it. I don't want to see anymore. I've seen what I've needed to see, and I'm done with it. And I'm done talking about the running game because they're not going to pick. It's Tawi Walker, but they just won't make him the featured guy for whatever reason is their reasoning. Tawi
Walker, who left the game last week. We got to say that too.
He did.
We don't know the status of that.
We do not. So that's another thing to watch. But I did think Gavin Sawchuk looked good last week at times. I thought he looked good at times. We'll see what happens with that as well as the week develops. But yeah, okay. Also, before I pass it off, I want to give you Oklahoma State's defensive ranks. So they are the 13th ranked defense out of 14 in the Big 12. They allow 170 yards a game on the ground. They allow 238 passing yards a game. That's what we got out of Oklahoma State. Matt Gann, I want to start with you. What are you looking for, man?
Yeah, this defense is vulnerable. They have been really outscoring opponents, a.k.a. letting Ollie Gordon break loose for 4 tutties a game. So this defense is vulnerable to the deep ball, vulnerable to the run game. I would like to see Javonte Barnes be the featured guy. We did see him carry about 7 times in the Kansas game, especially if Tyree Walker is not going to be available. So I'd like to see Javonte get in there a little bit more, or even Sawchuk. One of these guys needs to have the run game enough, but it's got to be the deep ball. It's got to be the intermediate throws. I think on my DG's got to have, I think, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns. And we actually saw him use his legs last week. He obviously had 14 carries, 60 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's what we wanted to see from the Texas game. Could he continue to use his legs? Didn't really see that in the UCF game or the UCF game. Want to see that more, but not QB power plays. I want to see more if he just breaks out of the pocket. If there's nothing down the field, is there grass to take for him to just keep the chains moving? The big thing I'm watching is the money down, 3rd down conversions last week were 2 for 10. You're just leaving your defense out to dry. I don't care what the weather was. That is embarrassing against.
That's 2022. That's last year.
Yeah,
last year's team.
Can't have that, especially with how fast this offense likes to go. That just puts your defense more and more pressure because they're on the field a lot more, leaving them out to dry. They have to convert on the money downs. They have to keep the ball moving, and just please, goodness, throw the ball down the field. Please. My goodness. He's got an arm. We talked about when DG came in that he was known for his deep throws, his 20-plus yard touchdown plays. The explosive plays have to be there. If I see more than 2 jet sweeps, I am, just like you, Mason, going to put my foot through my television. I am so sick of it with the athletes that we have. It's just too good. I think, Ryan, you said it best. We're really mismanaging the offensive talent that we have with Jaleel, with Drake, with these guys. Get them out in space.
Facts.
Stop doing it behind the line of scrimmage. The whole Jaleel Farouk in the backfield is really cute at the beginning. Gotten nowhere last week. Get him out on the edge. Let him do work on this horrendous secondary. Let him cook.
Mark, go ahead. Jump in there.
Hold on. Can I go?
Yeah, I'd love for you to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, are you about to leave?
Yeah.
Rolling out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bring it.
All right, baby.
Yeah,
this is the Ryan Tyson finale.
show.
I have to unfortunately leave the pod early, so I'm going to give my last minute thoughts when it comes to the Bedlam game. Offensive wise, we have to throw the ball. When Mason was like, Dylan Gabriel's the leading passer in the Big 12, and I thought about last week against Kansas, I started crying inside because it's just so ridiculous how you don't use your quarterback. We have to use him. I think if Tawi is good to go, he gets the start. He's shown himself. He gets the start. If he's not good to go, put in Barnes. We have to be better than last week on play calling. I agree with you guys. Jet sweeps need to go. All this cuteness needs to go. Stick to what has been successful in the past. That is how you're going to win this game on offense. That is how you will win. And that's the way they need to go. My final prediction, I think this game is incredibly close. I am going to say 31-28 OU.
Okay.
Like that.
OSU.
Wow, a walk-off.
Ryan,
A walk-off.
Don't leave. Don't leave.
God.
Go video off and mute so that it doesn't mess up the video for Trevor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Good call. Yeah. Wow.
Good
What a
call.
guy.
Yeah,
Good call.
I'm thinking about the edit.
Little look behind. Oh, I'm going to text Trevor that now.
That was so hot. Man, just in and out, just like that.
Perfect.
Mic drop.
Just like that.
Now it's just the
Dang.
it's
Yeah.
the 3 M's, baby.
Mark, jump in there, brother.
Yeah, I think that you guys are drastically underplaying the Tawi Walker injury and his potential effectiveness if he is not right. I love this idea about Javonte Barnes, but he had less rushing yards on the same number of carries as the cute Jaleel Farouk backfield experiment. So I don't have a ton of confidence in what he brings to the table either. Gavin Sawchuk goes 6 carries for 19 yards. Between the two of them, it's 11 carries for 36 yards last week. We haven't seen nearly enough of these guys to feel like we have any kind of confidence in the ground game, I think, unless Marcus Major is able to come out and have a big game or Tawi Walker is right? Those things are possibilities, but the young bloods, I don't have any kind of faith in. We've seen one good drive out of Gavin Sawchuk. That's what I'll give him, is that fourth quarter drive against UCF when we won the game. That's it. Have y'all seen really good Javonte play? I haven't.
No.
And
But he's been banged up, so maybe it takes him a week to get back into it. He hasn't taken hits in the whole entire year.
Sure. Count on that. I'm not going to.
I've seen more from Devontae
at the
last
receiver
year
position
than I've seen all from this year.
Sure. What have you seen from Devontae this year? No, answer that question. It does matter.
He's been banged up the entire year.
Well, right.
Of course, I haven't seen anything. He hasn't been on the field. But what I saw
the Javonte from last season, has not been present this season. I agree with what you just said. 100%. He was better than anyone we've seen this year.
Still is.
He also hasn't been here at all, even a little bit. So I'm worried about the running game. On the receiver side, we didn't even try last week, so it's hard to really know what the plan might be there. But I do agree with everything Matt said there about it's getting to third down. It's getting to third down or breaking a nice run on first or a quick pass on first that lets you take a shot on second before converting that third down. But you have to make it third and manageable, or you have to convert on those hard third downs. You cannot let drives die, because we talked about it on the offensive side of the ball on the OU's defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
My expectation is they're going to be able to run the football to some degree of success. They're going to control the time of possession if we're not able to just kind of take charge of the game. So I'm worried about the running game. It's an incomplete grade for me on the receiving, because we saw nothing last week, and I don't know what we're going to see this week. I have no good expectations there.
You have a chance as an offense to really get some back-breaking conversions on third down and even some on fourth down, because as Matt pointed out, this OSU defense is not that great. They're not performing very well. So if you can get early on, get into third down situations that are manageable, or even some that aren't manageable, and you're able to convert, you can break these guys down quite quickly, I believe. And I think the mental game is going to be massive in this. It's going to be so big. It's the last game. Whether you want to believe it or not, emotions are going to be high. You're going to be on the road. Stillwater is going to be rabid. They want to win this game more than any other game that they've wanted to win in a long time. This is important. And if you are able to take the air out of that stadium, it is going to have an effect. So that's something to look for as well, because if Dylan can step up in those moments and deliver some big time throws, that's a Drake Stoops down to me. I talk a lot of crap on Drake Stoops. Third and medium is Drake Stoops like prime time, when I'm okay with seeing Drake Stoops catch a football. That's when I'm cool with it.
Crap on Drake Stoops? I feel like we're all pretty pro Drake Stoops, but it's like he is what he is.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, right? Is like,
yeah,
I think Drake Stoops is fine. I just don't need him to be the number one guy on my football team.
Right. Build an offense around Drake Stoops.
Yes, that's my thing. So that's my point. I'll let you guys wrap us up. But remember, down below in the comments, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of this OU offense against OSU's defense. What kind of matchups are you looking for, people? All right. Any final thoughts, guys?
I just got to see Jeff Lebby in his bag for this game. Our best receiver has been out since the Texas game. Our best running back might not be playing. So need to see a lot out of Jeff Lebby. And I hope it involves, to Matt's point earlier, 0 jet sweeps.
You know what else I hope? Stop rotating the offensive line. Find the best 5 guys and just frickin' play them. Stop.
At the very least, never take Caden Green off the field.
Never.
What are you doing?
I don't know. No idea.
No one needs snaps more than that kid.
No one.
He's your best. He's your most talented offensive lineman outside of maybe Tyler Guyton. And he's the youngest. Keep him on the field. Great.
Matt Gann.
I would like to see more Brennan Thompson be more of a vertical threat, stretch the defense. Again, we lost our best player and our best wide receiver, Anthony, who was our deep threat. Haven't really had that. As much as I love Jaleel, he doesn't have that speed that Brennan Thompson brings. So love to see him get in the more of the rotation, as well as Jacquez Pettyway. I think these guys both have elite speed. Need to see more time on the field to really stretch the defense, especially with a team that is giving up over 240 yards on the back end. This got to be a huge game for DG and the wide receiver corps. Running games, obviously, you just got to be good enough, whoever's in there. This should be a big game. DG, 400-plus yards, 3+ TDs. This is what I want to see.
Matt, are you saying you don't want Brennan Thompson to just get one throw at the very end of the game when the game's over? Like deep? You want him to get more than that? I feel like that's
Absolutely.
asking so much. That's crazy. It's
Real
crazy.
fast. Jaquez Petaway, number 19. I want him on the field as much as humanly possible. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I think he's dynamic with the ball in his hands.
Yep. All right, boys. We had Ryan give us his pick, 31-28, Oklahoma Sooners. Let's make our picks. Matt looks distraught if you're watching our YouTube channel, so we'll start with Mark. Mark, what's your pick, brother?
I actually wanted to go last, but I'll go.
Oh,
maybe.
did you?
No.
Oh, did
Yeah,
you?
here's why.
Oh,
Here's
here's
why.
why. Oh, boy.
You're going to change your mind depending on what we decide.
No, not at all.
No.
Cowboys 38, Oklahoma 31.
Oh,
I don't. It's my first projected loss of the year.
Wow.
Obviously, we did lose to Kansas, but I think they are rolling and we are reeling, and that doesn't. Hopefully, that gets turned around because it's such a big week, and you got to get right. But I don't have faith in Danny's ability to play like Danny. I don't have faith in Tawi Walker's ability to play like we've seen him play, and I think everything's going to stem off of those things. So, yeah, 38-31, baby. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate myself, but let's go.
38-37. I have an Oklahoma win. I think it's tight, and I think Oklahoma State's going to get points on the board, especially if Danny isn't as close to 100% as humanly possible. He's not going to be. So anyone who thinks that if he's out there, he's not 100%. Like I genuinely will not believe that. But I think an 80% Danny Stutzman gives you a better shot than 100% somebody else. Just I need him out there. But with that being said, I think OU does enough to win the game. I don't think it's going to be pretty, and I think we're going to be frustrated and be like, I'm sorry, is Mike Stoops calling plays again on defense? Like, what is happening at some point? So it's going to be stressful, but buckle in, folks. Anybody who said winning is easy is an idiot. So it's tough. And this is one of those games. Matt Gann.
Man, I've been thinking about this all day, and I've gone back and forth. I've said OSU's going to win, OU. I think it could really go either way. I also think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a classic OSU Bedlam shootout. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense played on either side. Even if Danny is there, if he's only 70%, I just don't think he's going to be all the way after an ankle injury. That's really tough, especially since he didn't play all second half. I'm going to go 45-42 OU. I think they went on a last-second field goal. I think the offense is going to be aggressive. I think you're going to see a lot of different play calling, but I think this team is going to give up a lot of points, and Ollie Gordon's, I think, going to go for 203 touchdowns. I don't think there's anything stopping him. This is going to be a shootout. I think OU is going to change up the play calling, be more aggressive, score a lot of points on this bad defense, but OU's defense can give up a lot too. I'll go 45-40.
Let us know down below in the comments.
Whatever I said.
Let us know down below in the comments your picks.
By Zach Schmidt to win the
Yeah.
game. That's hot.
Dude.
That's hot.
Freaking shot. I'm telling you right now, if Zach Schmidt walks out there with 3 seconds left in the game, I can't watch. There will physically be no way for me to watch that.
If we're tied, it's okay. So
Yeah.
I'm all right with
Okay,
Matt's
if
prediction
we're
there.
tied,
Like,
fine.
But
If we're
it's
tied,
like
fine,
to
but-
win by 2. Oh,
Gross.
God.
Gross. I can't do it. Oh my God. Bedlam week. Get you every single time. All right.
Fun, man.
Well, and Patrick just texted me.
Oh,
He was like,
thanks.
"Hey, make sure the boys know my prediction."
There's no
He's
way
got-
this is real. There's no way
He's
this
got
is
OSU 33, OU 30. Looks like an upset win for the Cowboys this weekend.
We're gonna
just,
confirm that.
Yeah,
I'll,
we're gonna confirm.
just reading
Ever
the
put
text. You
that
guys
out.
want to just
Hold
Hold
your phone
show
up.
us the text.
Hold your phone up.
Hold your phone up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
It just
Okay.
died. It's
There
crazy.
it is.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
I
Okay,
love you.
Matt Gann, while you're on your bullshit, why don't you give us a Circle the Wagons update for the people, Matt Gann?
I absolutely can. It'll be a quick update, not too much going on until some other sports come into play, but soccer
Matt Gann
finishing
quickie.
its season. Hey, we love one. 2 minutes or less, right? Soccer women finished the season 8-10-2. They played in the Big 12 championship tournaments in Round Rock, Texas. They lost their regular season game to OSU 1-0. They played the OSU Cowgirls again in the first round, had a little bit of a redemption, beat them 1-0, went on to the second round to play number 7 BYU, who ended their season with a 6-0 smackaroony. So not a great way to win or a great way to end the season, but we'll have to talk to correspondent soccer Patrick Hertz to get a little bit more insight. Is this team good enough coming back next year? So we shall see, but that ends their season. On that note, volleyball continues to skid. They're overall 9-12. They split the Iowa State series last weekend, and they will play Ryan's Waco Baylor Bears actually tonight. So if you're listening to it, the score will already be known if you're listening on today's pod. Golf capped off their fall season with a tie for first in the Hawaii Classic with a team total of under 42. If anyone plays golf, that is a pretty good score. They tied with East Tennessee State. The number 1 OU player and one of the best golfers in the weekend, Luke Culver, led the team at -18. If anyone's keeping score at home, that is almost half of the birdies that OU team's total had. He had 9 birdies alone on Saturday. That is pretty darn good. He's actually a transfer from Kansas, so good pickup for Ryan Heibel, the OU men's coach. He now continues his streak. Hibble continues his streak of at least one win or one tournament per season. I think he's 12 straight between the fall and spring semesters. So he continues to churn out some great OU golf team. So they will end that season. And again, we got basketball and some other sports coming up. So stay tuned for Circle the Wagons.
Love it. Can't wait for basketball season for Jenny Baranchik time. I think Porter Moser, his time is limited because
my thing with
suck.
Porter, hold on, here's my thing.
Yeah.
Real fast. It's just a quick Porter thought, not really the whole basketball thing.
Mhm.
But do you think he's had a fun moment
No.
yet as the
No.
Oklahoma basketball coach? We bring him in, half the team leaves. They leave every year. He's got to rebuild the roster every single time. He's fighting the administration to get Lloyd Noble renovated or redone, rebuilt, all of this. It just seems like every moment he's trying, man. He's doing all these like, hey, come on out. If you're a student, your tickets are completely free.
Yeah.
I am personally buying you pizza.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah,
No,
it's just tough. He looks kind of downtrodden every time I see him, and that's tough. That sucks. Also, be better.
Yep. Bingo. In PGP MVP of the week time, boys. Let's round out the show with some MVPs for the week. Who wants to go first? I'll go first. I'll do it. My MVP of the week is OU Twitter. And this is why. Oklahoma State offensive lineman.
Wait. Oh, all right. This is both of ours because my LVP is this kid. And it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, then this is what Dalton Cooper had to say in an interview in availability. Quote, I'd also say that all OU fans that are there, maybe about 95% of them didn't go to college at OU, but 100% of the OSU fans that are in my town of Prague, Oklahoma, all of them went to OSU. They're just a bunch of bandwagoners for sure, referring to OU fans. And then OU Twitter proceeded to just flood the timeline with old Dalton Cooper tweets raving about the University of Oklahoma and being an OU fan. It's just perfect. Because
yeah, go.
of course, you're an OSU fan if you go to OSU, and you're not an OSU fan if you didn't go there. Why would you be a fan of a losing university? Why would you actively be like, you know what? I didn't give this school my money, but I love rooting for the little guy. No, you don't. At the same time, OU's winning games and winning championships and doing all this. And even if you didn't go there, but you're from the state of Oklahoma,
in Oklahoma,
and you're growing up in Oklahoma, you look at that. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Also kind of elitist for hating on people who didn't even go to college. Pretty messed up, Dalton. That's all I got to say. All right, Mark.
All right, yeah. So I'm just going to piggyback off of that. My LVP is Dalton Cooper for that same quote, and just real fast. I want to reiterate one little piece of it. I'd say all the OU fans that are there in his town, Prague, Oklahoma, maybe like 95% of them didn't go to college at OU, but 100% of the OU fans that are in my town, all of them went to OSU. And then you are revealed to be the exact person you're talking shit against.
Bingo.
Because you weren't going to be promised playing time by an OU staff that couldn't even recruit defense. Dog.
It's amazing.
Dog. You played yourself. Okay. I understand you're trying to keep it real at the end of practice. You got a camera in front of your face. You want to talk some good shit. This is Dave Chappelle when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yep.
You are taking the L on this, Dalton Cooper. And I hope, my prediction aside, you take the L on Saturday. You joke. Go ahead, Matt Gann.
Matt Gann, what you got?
Yeah, I got a couple things I got to hit on because I have Patrick and Ryan Tyson.
Do you really
MVPs.
have Patrick?
So Patrick's MVP is him and Becca for winning best costume this weekend at the bungalow for Fred and Daphne. If anyone sees pictures, looked incredible. Go follow them on Instagram. Absolute best costumes in California. So MVP is himself and his fiance. Ryan Tyson's LVP is the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins for tearing his Achilles, giving me shit.
No, I don't buy it.
For Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles, and then his starting quarterback goes down as well. LVP, the Minnesota Vikings. Now,
hold on, let's stop because Ryan actually gave us an MVP. Do you just not look at the outline?
No, he's doing a bit. It's all a bit. Everything he does is a bit.
But now I don't believe the Patrick thing.
And now my MVP, or actually, I have a loser VP.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go the Raiders front office, who are now currently just let go of Josh McDaniels after his 2 years, but he did sign a 6-year deal. They actually now owe two head coaches, John Gruden and Josh McDaniels, over $90 million for not even coaching their team. Loser VP goes to the Raiders front office for paying two coaches a bunch of money for a bunch of nothing.
Shout out to NFL coaches, like the agency or the collective bargaining agreement or whatever it is, because I had no idea every NFL coach's salary is fully guaranteed. That's crazy to me. That's nuts.
And show me how many make it to the end of their contract.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Half of them.
Considering the players don't have any of it guaranteed most of the time. It's a completely effed up power dynamic.
It's
there.
weird.
Money dynamic, all of it.
Well, coaching
for your
salary
NFLPA.
Yeah, it doesn't count against the cap, right? So they can pretty much pay anything.
Yeah.
Do anything. And it has to be guaranteed, I guess. Because how are you going to get Matt Eberflus to run your team if you can't guarantee his whole contract, guys?
Dude, and now Patriot fans are like, oh, I hope Bill Belichick retires so we'll hire Josh McDaniels as our head coach. And like, please
I haven't seen that. When did you see that? I've seen
some
your
some
Twitter,
fans.
Your
I swear.
Twitter timeline's a crazy place.
Bill Belichick signed an extension.
Yeah, he signed an extension. He did. But
makes
like
him the highest paid, whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, he's also old as heck. Like
this actually, I know we're just keeping this going, but this explains Mason's whole everyone is against my teams thing, I'm sure he follows the most abrasive, like Patriots fans, Bills fans, Jets fans, Texas fans, Oklahoma State fans. And it's like, yeah, they do hate Tua and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah, they do. They all do. They all do.
I like it. We're learning
me,
about each other.
It's Oklahoma against the world, and it's me against the world. Me and my quarterbacks against the world. That's
You're
what
the
it
program,
is.
baby.
That's right. Absolutely.
We're
just keeping it going now. Wrap it up, Matt Gant says. That's going to do it for episode 95. It's in the books. Be sure to join us on Sunday, I believe, is going to be our post-game pod. You can check us out there for that. Going to be a lot of fun recapping that game for you guys. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on all of our social media, at Program Guys with a Z, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. And we will see you on Saturday as well as Sunday for the program roundup. Remember to check out the program roundup. That's going to do it. Matt Gant, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.